America, land of the free and home of the brave. We're a country packed full of history in our short lifespan of just over 400 years, and it all started with beer. In 1587, colonial Virginians started brewing this stuff and never looked back. Americans love homebrewing, and here in Salt Lake City, we are any different. And if you like homebrewing, or if you've never even homebrewed before, the Beer Nut is a great place to start your adventure. Their knowledgeable and friendly staff will help you get started and show you everything you need to know. We were able to sit down with one of their employees, Dave, and speak a little bit about the Beer Nut and homebrewing process. Alright, so how long has the Beer Nut been open?
Since 1994, so about 17 years now. It was started by Mark Alston, who still owns it, who's a beer aficionado and a home brewer who back before he started the shop, felt that Salt Lake City needed a little better homebrew shop, a little more accessible, so he decided to start one. Legislation was passed in 2009, making homebrewing fully legal without a license for private citizens in Utah. And this has opened the door for us at the Beer Nut to organize a home brewing competition in which brewers can submit their beers, which they're most proud of, to be judged by local professionals as well as other home brewers, and in an environment where they can trade ideas, get feedback, and win some awards. So it's a really positive thing for the community. Homebrewing is viewed a little bit as a sort of an outlaw thing in Utah, I suppose, because a large portion of the population is antagonistic towards alcohol in general. So it's been a little more difficult to gain acceptance as a legitimate hobby in Utah, as it would be in other places. Interest in beer has gone up in general. Craft beer of different styles, different flavors, different colors have been, the interest in those has been going up since the 90s or even the 80s, when some of the first craft brews started coming out on the market. The more people get interested in beer and the different types of beer, the more they get interested in the process of how these beers are produced, which leads them to want to discover how to make their own, especially when they find out how easy it is. The process is pretty simple. You need a large stock pot to boil in. That's an essential part of the brewing process. In that stock pot, you'll combine the water, malt extract, which is sugar derived from grain, typically malted barley, and specialty grains, which are different grains treated in different ways to give them different color and flavor aspects. And once those are all together, that becomes a sweet liquid called wort. And the wort is too sweet to be drunk on its own, so it needs some sort of bitterness to counteract it. So that's where the hops come in. Hops are added to add a little bit of bitterness to counteract the sweetness of the malt, and also for flavor and aroma. Once all those are combined, the wort is cooled and put into a sanitized fermenter, which is usually a large food-grade plastic bucket. Yeast is added, and the yeast consume the sugars in the wort, producing alcohol and carbon dioxide. Once that is finished, the yeast settle out to the bottom, and the beer is removed to bottles with a little dose of sugar, so the yeast that are still in suspension actually eat that sugar, but since it's in a closed bottle, the CO2 has nowhere to go, so it gets reabsorbed, and that's how beer gets carbonated.
Well, that's pretty much it. So buy yourself a kit, start home brewing, and cheers.